It's you might already know. It's one of those pretty Martha Stewart bulletin boards where you pin up pictures from magazines of your hopes and dreams, and like a trip to Hawaii or twins. And then the universe feels that you've cut this out of a magazine and hung it up and gives you these things. And it was familiar to me because my mother, when I was growing up, had a vision board, and she had it tattooed inside my frontal lobe so that I knew exactly what she wanted and when she wanted it and how she wanted it. For example, when I was 7 years old, I overheard her say that I would be attending Smith College. So, Smith College, for those of you who don't know, is a women's school, women's college, and it was one of the Seven Sisters, and it was conceived of to create wife material for the men of Harvard and Yale and Amherst. And my mom had been trying to transcend her Jewish immigrant root vegetable roots ever since she had applied to Smith, peroxided her hair yellow, and been rejected. If you or someone you love has applied to a prestigious college, you will know that there's such a thing called a legacy candidate. So your father went to that school, your grandfather went to that school, your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather cleared the land of indigenous people and built the school. And so you are entitled to go to that school. I'm what you would call the unlegacy candidate. My mother didn't get in, and I was to go to fulfill her destiny. So, anyway, I applied to Smith and was accepted, and I didn't really want to go because it seemed stuffy and old-fashioned, and they had tea on Fridays, and there were no boys, but with my mom I had there were sort of two options. I could be obedient, or I could be browbeaten into obedience. So I was going to go to Smith. And secretly, the truth be told, I kind of really wanted to go. I really wanted to just be with women. And it wasn't that I had anything against the boys. It's not like today where I have that sort of deep bone fatigue when a man opens his mouth and tries to explain my experience. It wasn't like that. It was more that after all this expensive education I'd already had, I noticed that when the boys drew a picture or were in the play or played an instrument, they were so beloved. They were so beloved. And I just knew that wouldn't it be great if we just had just a little something just for us. So the summer before I go, something really strange happens. The folks I work with at the restaurant, my peers, my friends, start teasing me. And they start saying, "Oh, that's an all-girls school. That's a lesbian school. Oh, you're going to be with lesbians. Your roommate's going to be a lesbian. You're going to be a lesbian." And I had nothing against lesbians. For all I knew, or all I could tell, lesbians seemed like sturdy, helpful citizens. They didn't seem to be causing any trouble. But what was alarming to me about the way they talked about it was that they were saying that I would be having sex, and that would require my having a body, and I didn't know I had a body. So that teasing was unbearable, and not going would be life-threatening to live with my mother and not go to Smith. So I did what any good person with middle-class skills did. I wrote a letter to the dean of students. And I said, "I don't want to live with a lesbian." And my parents, my mother especially, trotted me out like a little party trick to all her friends and said, "Bola, tell about the letter that you wrote to the dean." I said I didn't want to live with a lesbian. And they sounded kind of like those pigeons under the George Washington Bridge, all her friends. Ooh, ooh. From the dean. And it was the most elegant and diplomatic piece of writing I think I've ever seen, and I will paraphrase it. It basically said, "We don't do that. We don't discriminate between our students, and we cannot honor your request." I wrote her right back, "You're right, I'm sorry, and I'm so excited to be there with my duffel bags in September." So I went to Smith, and I thought we would be taking the patriarchy apart brick by brick every night, and arguing and looking at everything through a Marxist feminist perspective. And my entire incoming class just seemed to be made up of girls named Betsy, Jennifer, Jessica, and Jessica. And the only question they had for authority, they were like, the Stasi, is this going to be on the exam? Like, that's the only thing they asked. So it took me a couple semesters to find where the revolution was fomenting. And it was in a tiny little vegetarian cooperative full of nothing but lesbians. So the semester I moved in there, I walked in and to the kitchen, and it was dreamy. The sun was streaming in. There was a big pot of black beans bubbling on the stove. They were cutting tofu by the slab. There was this big poster of a Sandinista smiling, and she's got her baby on one hip, and she's got her AK-47 on the other. And it says, "Anda la Nicaragua." And in front of me is this array of powerful plaid lesbians. And they kind of regard me the way you would a ladybug, sort of like, "Oh, it's an insect. It's not going to cause me." And they went back to their conversation of talking about the summer movies that they had seen through a Marxist feminist perspective. And it was great until they got to The Little Mermaid. You know, the one with Ariel, and she's got that tiny little wasp waist, right? And I was like, oh my God, they're going to shred her. And I really like that movie. And so I sort of held my breath. And then the largest, most powerful plaid lesbian sort of cocked her head and said, "That's okay. She made her own choices." Months later, I had mounted a campaign against the college in a bitter union dispute on behalf of the working people who cleaned the buildings at the school with all of my comrades. And I found myself shouting in the face of that same dean. Something helpful like, "You can't balance the budget on the backs of the workers!" And what that woman, that dean, did not do, she did not run back to her file cabinet and take out my homophobic letter and wave it in my face and show it to my comrades. Instead, she did what she probably had always done with these women children who arrived and then evolved and then graduated. She just planted her feet and took a deep breath and let me have all my sound and fury. Thank you.